I guess you could say that today's video could be slightly controversial. It's very simple. We are taking the FIFA ratings when the game came out of the Arsenal squad and upgrading them or downgrading them based on how they've performed this season. Now, it's worth noting, if you're living under a rock, that Arsenal are arguably the best team in England this season. They're certainly right up there with Man City, and a lot of the players, I would argue, have deserved big upgrades. So yes, there's going to be a lot of upgrades in this video, but also some players staying the same. I think we've had some injuries. We've had some players that just haven't performed. And also something else I want to say is I think EA were very, very harsh on the Arsenal ratings by the end of last year. So going into this game, I felt like a lot of the ratings were on the low end. So with that in mind, we're going to start off with Ramsdale in goal. Now, there's no doubt he has transformed Arsenal from the back. We like to play out. Passing it with Ramsdale is a huge part of how we do our system, whether it's a long pass or a short pass. I think this season he is justified. Let me just make sure I've actually clicked the window here. I think he's justified an 83. So from an 82 to an 83. I think that's fair enough. Other goalkeepers in the Premier League are still higher rated than him because they're more experienced and they've been doing it for longer. But for sure, Ramsdale's trajectory it's up. He's going to be a very, very good goalkeeper in the future. He's already at a good level. Now, up next, we have Matt Turner. We haven't seen much of him. And of course, outside of this Arsenal world, you know, if you're a supporter of a different team, you probably haven't even seen Turner play this season. But I will say, as an Arsenal fan watching him play in the Europa League, he's decent. He was very good in the World Cup. So what I meant is you wouldn't have seen him play for Arsenal. You would have seen him in the World Cup. He's definitely a good goalkeeper. But I think 77 is about right. So no changes there. I think 77 is fair. Maybe you could argue a 78. Moving on to the right back position. Of course, we're using Ben White this season as a right back. He was given a 79 rating for FIFA 23. That to me was, I think, very harsh. And of course, he has changed position this season. He wasn't playing right back last year. He did very well as a centre-back. I think he was very good, actually. There were a few wobbly games at the start, but he really did come good. And this season, he has transformed our right side. Him and Saka have been great together. So with a position change in mind, I've upgraded him to 82 rated. And I think you could argue he might deserve even more if you compare his rating, even at 82, with some of the other right backs in the league. When, again, you could argue he has been one of the best right backs in the league this season, if not the best right back in the Premier League right now when he's on form. But I have to say, over the last few weeks, we have seen a slight dip in form. And some Arsenal fans, including myself, were actually asking maybe for something different and get Tomiyasu involved, who we're going to talk about next. So Tomiyasu started the game with a 79 rating. I don't think that was too bad, but 100% deserves a small upgrade. I think 80 would be absolutely fair. And what we see with Tomiyasu more and more is he's a squad player that comes in and fills in gaps in defence. He can play left back, he can play centre back. I think for Japan, he plays left centre back. He is right-footed, but he's very, very good with his left. He was basically brought into Arsenal to be a versatile player that is two-footed. He is our Cazorla in defence. He's very good with his left as well. Big fan of Super Tomiyasu. Now, this one, there's no arguments here, guys. I'm sorry, if you disagree with what I'm about to say, you don't know ball. Okay, Zinchenko being rated 79 rated was a travesty. We all know he's better than that. He's a serial winner with Man City. You don't get into a Man City squad unless you are very, very talented. Pep Guardiola loves this man. I still don't know how we managed to sign him. That blows my mind. How did we get Zinchenko? I don't know, especially when they haven't effectively replaced him. But 79 rated, ridiculously low. I've given him an 82. But again, you could make the point that who's a better left back in the Premier League right now? You've got a few shouts. I would say Luke Shaw's had a very good season. But in terms of actual ratings, I don't think many will be higher than Zinchenko. So maybe even higher than 82. But I've been somewhat... I've held back a little bit here. I think 82 would be more than enough. So up next, we've got Tierney. hasn't played that much this season. I think, unfortunately, he will be on his way out from the club. And I love Tierney, but he doesn't play the system that Arteta wants to play, which is effectively using wing-backs as central midfielders. It seems to be this new wave, and it works, this new tactical thing that some managers are adopting, including, Pep Guardiola kicking it off, really, and Arteta's done that. And he can't seem to do that job very well. But I don't think it justifies a downgrade or anything like that. So I am keeping him as an 81 rated left back, and I would keep him at the club. I really like Tierney. He's a hard worker, and you can rely on him. If Zinchenko's injured, it's bad, but it's not the end of the world because we've got Tierney. And replacing Tierney, difficult to do. I mean, we've got Tavares out on loan, could potentially come back and do a job for us. But we're going to move on now to the centre-backs. We've got Saliba, has truly been a new signing for us. Of course, we signed him many years ago. He's been on loans, but this was his year. We finally got him, and it felt like a new signing. And I'm telling you now, if you wanted to sign a Saliba right now, I mean, you're looking at minimum, I would say, 60, 70 million. So we got that for free, effectively. We paid 30 million for him 3 years ago, or whatever it is. And he has arguably been our best centre-back this season. I've upgraded him to 82 rated. Some people might argue he should be higher. Some might say, he's still very young, still got a lot to prove. Maybe 82 is too much. But I think that's a good start. And of course, we've got Holding as his main backup. Holding is holding his rating, 77. Absolutely fine by me. He's a great player to throw on in the last few minutes or to play in Europa League games and cup games. But I don't see his future at Arsenal. I think he's going to end up moving somewhere. Do you know what? Something like a Southampton or an Aston Villa. I really think he might do well. Maybe he'll go link up with his best friend Chambers at Aston Villa. Over to the left side of our centre-backs, we've got Gabriel. The best upgrade he's had this season is his new trim. 81 rated. He started off this season. I thought that was okay, but I've upgraded him to an 82. I think he should be the same as Saliba. There's a mistake in Gabriel. I think all Arsenal fans know that there is definitely something. He does make the odd mistake, but he has been so solid this season. One of the underrated performers in this Arsenal team. And his backup is a new signing, Kiwior, a young Polish centre-back who is actually a DM from the beginning of the game. He was a CDM at Spezia. And of course, now he's joined Arsenal, and I have upgraded him to, I think, 74 as a centre-back. Having watched a few videos of him, and no, I didn't just search highlights. You can actually see some people like to create, they are montages, but it's not just their best bits. You can see some of the generic passing and general play. He looks tidy. He looks like a very tidy player. Very much looking forward to seeing him play. It's going to be difficult for him to get into the team at the moment, though. But I think a little 3 upgrade to 74 just for getting the Arsenal badge. It's not really a prediction of... it's more of a prediction of what he might get, from FIFA because he's now at Arsenal. Into midfield now, we've got El Neni, who will not play again this season. He is out with a lengthy knee injury, I believe it is, holding his 76 rating. No problem there. He is a very solid option for us. This one's going to be controversial. Before I do this, okay, because I think some people are going to be mad at me, but Thomas Partey, you could argue, is the most important player for Arsenal. Without Thomas Partey, we won't win the league. It is as simple as that. He wins us the title, in my opinion. He is the cog, the main cog. 84 rating is a travesty based on his current form. When, and I say when, you take into consideration you've got Casemiro, who's 89 rated. You've got Rodri, who's 87, I believe. 84 is not fair. So, again, not going completely crazy, but an 86. I think he's been on level, if not slightly ahead of Casemiro for the majority of the first half of the season. But certainly recently when Casemiro started to really adapt to Manchester United, I think he has been the best DM in the league. Rodri is as consistent as always. He should be very close to both of their ratings. I think Casemiro should be the highest considering what he's won. He's come from Real Madrid in the summer. He's going to have a high rating. But I don't think Thomas Partey deserves 5 lower than Casemiro. I can live with maybe 3. Okay, so I would give Partey an 86, but I'm just going to throw it out there. He could be an 87. He is that good. He is. Up next, we've got our brand new signing, Jorginho from Chelsea. This, spoiler, is going to be the only downgrade that I'm giving Arsenal players, because I don't think as he plays today, as Jorginho, the player we've just signed, I don't think he's 85 rated in my opinion. So I've actually downgraded him to an 84, but we've upgraded the picture. All right. Some people will disagree with me, but there's a reason he was sold by Chelsea. He is surplus to requirements. They've gone for much younger options now. And we've done the opposite. We've enhanced our experience levels, our age experience levels. He's going to be huge, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch as well. But 84, I think, is more than fair. I think Chelsea fans might disagree. Maybe they'd say even less. Right, moving on. This is another very frustrating one for me. How is Granit Xhaka 79 rated? Well, the answer to that is because this was at the start of the year. No one, and I mean no one, could have predicted just how good Xhaka would be this season. I think in the first 3 or 4 months, just before Christmas maybe, if you had asked me who's been the best central midfielder in the league, he's right up there. I'm not saying he's the best, but he is right up there, certainly in the top 5 central midfielders. And I'm not talking about DMs. He's not a DM. Granit Xhaka is a number 8 these days, okay? I've upgraded him to 83. Now, hold on. Okay, hold on, because that's a +4. The reason for that is because 79 is so harsh for a player of his ability regardless. I think because of his reputation, he wasn't given a good rating anyway. I think going into the new year, 81 would have been something, well, I say new year, but going into the new game, 81 would have been about right. He justifies an 83 rating. I challenge you now to go over on whatever website you want to use to look at FIFA ratings and explain to me how he doesn't deserve an 83. He's one of the best central midfielders in the league. He improves any team in the Premier League. He gets into the Liverpool side right now. He gets into Man City side, arguably, maybe. He gets into United side. He gets, obviously, into the Arsenal side. He'd get into the Chelsea side. I can't think of a team that wouldn't be improved with Granit Xhaka right now. And it's all because it seems like he's matured. It's like he was 20 last year and now he's 30. It's very difficult to explain how it's happened, but he has been incredible. Moving on, we've got our brand new signing in the summer, Vieira. We haven't seen enough of him because he plays in a position where we're quite naturally gifted in that area with a certain Martin Ødegaard, left-footed. Basically, I want to say he is the Portuguese Ødegaard, just not at that level yet. I think he deserves a small upgrade, nothing crazy, but we saw against Brentford. We've seen a couple of occasions where he's a very smart player. He hasn't had the best year ever. It's not the best start to his Arsenal career, but I think he's been very good. I think he deserves a +1. Whenever he's played, I've liked him. Just needs to bulk up a little bit. Up next, Starboy Saka, 82 rated at the start of this new FIFA. There's no doubt in my mind that he is one of the best players this season. He will be in the team of the year if he keeps it up. And he's due a big upgrade, 84. Again, I challenge you to show me why he shouldn't be 84. Name me some other 83, 84 rated players that are miles better than him. There isn't any. He is at the top level and he's still so young. And I'm so happy he's ours. I cannot tell you. Over on kind of the other side, I guess you could say, because we've got a silver player now, but this is Nelson. Again, injuries holding him back. I've upgraded him to 74. He did have a couple of appearances before his latest injury. He looked very good, got a couple of goals. I think 74 is enough for him. Smith Rowe, I've actually left him as an 80 rated. We've not seen much of him this season. Last year, that 80 upgrade was well deserved. You could even say maybe even 79 after not playing for so long because we haven't seen the 80 rated Smith Rowe much. But we will see that again shortly. He will be back soon. Martinelli, 78 rated. Harsh. Very, very harsh. Bang. Straight up to 81. Again, if Saka's 84 though, is Martinelli 82? I'm kind of giving him an 81 because he was flying up this season, doing really well. But recently we have seen, especially since Trossard's come in, a slightly slower Martinelli in terms of his progression up the pitch and getting goals and assists. He's still a great player. I think 81 is about right for him. And then, of course, new signing Trossard, 79 at the start of the year. I've upgraded him to 80. New picture as well. I think 80 is about right for Trossard. Biggest upgrade now. Nketiah has come in for an injured Jesus, and he has done so well. Again, maybe the last couple of weeks with basically the whole squad not performing at the highest level, he has stuttered a little bit. But there's no doubt in my mind that 73 is ridiculous. I mean, that's simply not fair. I've upgraded him to 78. And again, I challenge you to show me any other players that are better than him but lower than 78. Maybe there are some, but I think he plays at a very, very good level considering the pressure on him. He's playing for top of the league up front with no backup. We don't have another striker. Just saying. And then finally, we've got Jesus. Again, controversial one because he hasn't done as well as we all expected. Obviously, the injury, that doesn't count. Since the World Cup, he hasn't played. But pre-World Cup, other than pre-season and the first kind of few weeks, he had a pretty long barren spell where he wasn't really getting much done for the team. Linking up play nicely, though. Lots of assists, but wasn't maybe getting as many goals as we expected. But there's no doubt that 83 is hilariously unfair for a player of his quality. I think if you look at other strikers in just the Premier League alone, but more importantly, if you go outside the Premier League, Gerard Moreno, 85 rated. Bang. Match that. 85 rated. Jesus is one of the top strikers in the world. I think at 85, he's still on the lower end. So, bar the injury, if he had stayed fit, and if he didn't go to the World Cup or whatever and hit the ground running after the World Cup, 85 wouldn't even be scratching the surface. He is a top level player, and it's what he's brought to the team. In terms of leadership and winning mentality and things like that. But anyway, there you go, guys. It's a long one, but hopefully you don't think I've gone overboard with some of these selections. I think, honestly, the Arsenal squad all deserve, in general, big upgrades. There's a lot of players that don't deserve their rating they've got right now. We will see some winter upgrades soon. We are in February. And of course, if you play career mode like me, you get the database updates every few weeks. Some of the ratings I've shown you, they're already close to. So I imagine by the new, it's not even going to be called FIFA, the new EA Sports football game, some of these ratings might come true. But thank you for watching, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. I've got some big news coming soon, a massive announcement that I'm going to be talking about, I think maybe Thursday or Friday, something to do with my new project. So hopefully you guys are excited for that, and I will see you next time.